Alright, today we're going to take a look at this inverter back down here. We're going to compare it to these audio amps over here. Now you'll notice that this top amp is the Music 4-channel. This is like for your stage monitors or something. But this little amp is really damn powerful. Now this amp basically has toroidal coils inside of these. They look like square frames, but that's actually just a mounting frame. This stuff around here is plastic. It's not magnetic stuff. So if I cut the tape away, you'd see the round coil in there. Anyway, these don't weigh very much. These are what you would call a medium weight amplifier. And this is a really good amplifier. You notice we got two matching circuit boards. We got a channel 1 and a channel 2 here, which could be a left and a right, and a channel 3 and a 4 here, which could also be a left and a right if this was in a single case and just built with one unit. But even built with one unit, this is still within here two amplifier sets. So if you look over here, there's two transistors here, and then there's another pair over here. And then you've also got some pre-staging is over here. And then, you got your coils out here where your finals and stuff are. And then this one's just like that one, so you really only got to know one of these to know what's going on with the other one. This type of design is really popular. I think this is a Class B amp, I think. It's definitely not an A, but I don't think it's a D either. But I'll have to go back and look. I might be wrong. Let's see if there's anything on the back. No, it doesn't say anything about that on the back, but let's move on. Okay, now this next amp we're looking at here is a PV, and this is one of the IPR series ones, and this is kind of similar to a Behringer amp. And if you notice, there's no real, that's the only transformer right there. It's pretty small, and that's not even like a big transformer. This is a very lightweight thing. It's not like a big solid core. Once again, this is plastic on the outside, and it's just a round coil similar to this inside of here. I'm not sure totally what the frame's all about. I might have to look into that a little more. But essentially what these coils are for are holding the magnetics. And the magnetics are kind of like a capacitor. The field is where the electrons get stored and pulled out of when there's spikes and things. So I kind of like the coil type units, but these transistor units here are pretty nice too. Let's see if we get a little better look inside of here. Okay, these units down here are your transistors. There's a whole bank of them over here. Looks like they're actually doubled on top of each other over here and tied straight to this coil. So this coil here is basically like an energy tank, which you can think of this as. That's just storing extra energy for spike feeding, basically. And this is kind of like the newer design. This would really be considered what a transformerless unit looks like. You still do have a little bit of magnetics in them, but there's no great big power one. And this thing is like featherweight, and it's loud as hell. Typically, if you look at the capacitors, those kind of are what you're going to look at to get an idea about how much power your unit has. Because those are also, once again, those are your holding tanks for your real high energy. Now this unit here, I just wanted to show you guys. I opened this one up. This here is my Samson 2-channel old school amp. It's got a square transformer. It's a boat anchor. It weighs a lot. And I'm kind of glad I opened this up and looked in here, because this capacitor right here on the top is bulged up, and this sucker's getting ready to go. So I need to replace that. So once again, you can see there's only two cans in here. They're not too bad, but this thing's really not that much power compared to the other ones, and this thing weighs a ton. So if you look here, here's your transistors down here, and there's a lot of load pile type resistors in here. That's actually a pretty big bank of them. And that's your bridge rectifier up there. So this thing's an Anchor. It's a good amp, but once again, it's not A-class. It's just outdoor PA stuff. But I wanted you to see the difference between the square units and the toroidal units. I don't have a really good toroidal amp to show, unfortunately. I don't own one at this time. I sold the ones I had. However, what we're left with now is this big-ass 20,000 watt power inverter here. Now this is very similar to those amplifiers. This has a few things that the amplifiers don't have, and the amplifiers have a few things that this needs, so that this can be an audio amplifier for driving your subwoofers. If you got this driving your subwoofers, well, first of all, look how beefed that cable is coming off the 48-volt battery system. So there's no power supply built into this. The power's coming straight from the battery banks, kaboom, straight into the banks here. And look at the size of this coil here. That's just a monster. There ain't no audio amp on the planet that comes with a coil this big. I've never seen it. There might be one out there, but they're going to be hard to find. They're going to be custom like the one I'm going to make. So to turn this into a custom subwoofer amp, I'm going to tear out some of the, like the control board here. I won't need that. The face can go. These switches here for the power. You know, I might keep a couple of these switches because these are for power saver mode, and I can probably use that to knock the power level down a little bit if I don't need quite so much. However, once that circuit board comes out, I'm going to have to add some cascade stages into here to feed the finals. And that's pretty much all I'm going to have to put in here to turn this into a big-ass sub amplifier. So this setup over here is where you make this inverter into split phase 220 or single 110. So this setup here is similar to making this thing into a bridge mono amplifier. If I take those off, this becomes a stereo amp. With that on, it's a bridge mono amp. Once again, if you look back over here, you notice we got this gain stage, that gain stage. The capacitors could be a little bigger. I'd probably add some capacitors into it for an amp this size. Yeah, I'll probably put some beer can size capacitors in there. And well, this one's getting used for power, but the next one of these I get shipped, I'm going to tear apart and modify. And when I do that, I will make another video, show you what it does, and we'll blow some cones right out of the speaker frames. It's going to be fun. You'll see.